You ever had to use one of these in the field? Today I'm going to show you where you have to use this if you make the mistake that was made on this equipment. And that is, you try to put your hose on the service port and you do it in an improper way and you end up breaking the service port off. And then all the refrigerant comes out. I got a call and they said, we want a second opinion. Somebody came out here and said the compressor's bad. I came out here and I found out what was wrong, and I can resonate with this because I've done this before. I've actually broke a service port off on a Carrier unit, not this particular package unit, it was a heat pump. I've done this a couple times in the field and it's terrible because the customer's standing right beside you, they go, what just happened? And why is all the refrigerant coming out of the equipment? And what'd you do? And then you have to go, it was my fault, I'm sorry. This right here is an easy way for me to get this unit back up and running. We're gonna use our meter to check the compressor. It's a 3-phase compressor. We're gonna read the windings today as well. So if you wanna learn that, stay tuned. You're watching HVAC Tips for Technicians. I am Tad. Let's get started with today's video. We're gonna be installing one of these ports. I'm gonna show you the mistake that you should be careful to not make. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Definitely like, subscribe. If you wanna join my channel, click the join button. If you want more videos, check out my playlist, HVAC Tips for Technicians. This right here is the compressor. It's 3-phase. We're gonna use our meter to check it. Compressor's not bad. That right there is where the port is gonna be welded on. All I'm gonna do is heat that up, slide this in, and make sure that I can get my door back on once I get that installed. Now, this is what's supposed to be there. See that little service port? Somebody didn't put their wrench around this part, all right? They didn't put their adjustable pliers there when they tried to screw their hose on, and they ended up breaking it off. And instead of going, I made a mistake, let me put refrigerant back in this, they said the compressor's bad. Now I've got a turbo torch. Instead of the oxygen acetylene today, I've got a little turbo torch, so that's just acetylene. Got some new 22B. I'm gonna be trying out the retrofit refrigerant today. I'm pretty excited. And then I've got some nitrogen so that I can pressure test and make sure I don't have any leaks. Now let's check our compressor. It's 3-phase, so all the windings should read the same. And I had to go ahead and plug it in and get it tested so that I knew it would run. Now we got to make sure we can see that. So we're going to go from one winding to the next. All right, we'll do this first. All right, what's that say? 0.9. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, not getting a really good reading there. Am I moving or something? Okay, 0.9. Okay, so 0.9, 0.9. All right. And 0.9. 0.9. 0.9. And 0.9. So all the windings read the same. So if you want to check from ground, go from each winding to this copper piece or the base, make sure it's not shorted to ground, and then if it's OL, then of course the windings are open, but it's good. So now all I gotta do is weld on my little port here, braze my port on, and I'm good to go. Make sure that in the field, when you go to screw your fitting on, your hose onto the little service port fitting, that you do it with pliers holding this side. That way you don't turn this pipe, because if you do, you can end up breaking it off and then you're in bad shape, especially if you're in front of a customer. I wanted to show you that I have done this twice. Now, I didn't do this on this unit. We just got a call to check it, second opinion, but I know how this feels, and it sucks in the field, especially if you're in front of a customer. All the refrigerant goes out of the unit and then you're standing there looking like a fool, right? So let's go ahead and get this service port brazed on, get our gauges hooked up, go ahead and pull a vacuum. We're gonna hit nitrogen in there first. We're gonna do a triple evac, make sure that we pull down to at least 500 microns. All right, let's get started. All right, so here's some access fittings here. I wanna show you the package. We keep these at the office. The VersaTech VAX/4 access fittings, 1/4" OD times 3/16 ID extended copper tube. Quantity 6. Comes with a little plastic piece on one side, and then of course we've got our cap here, and we've got a little tool on the end of the cap so we can take the valve stem out. Isn't that nice? Here's some seal false. This is what we use, seal false 15. This is used for brazing copper, 15%. So you need to get some of these access fittings. Super easy to install, but I'm gonna give you a couple tips, okay? All you do is you heat up the area where that port's gonna be installed, and then once I get it heated up, I push my needle nose pliers in the hole, wiggle it around, get it large enough, that way the actual port will slip in there, and you can use the needle nose to hold that, or you can use your adjustable pliers. Either one, whatever you feel safer using. And then use some seal false, some 15% seal false, and then boom, you're good to go, man. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Make sure you don't burn anything. And once you get it ready, then you can put your stem in after the connection has cooled down. You need to get a wet rag or something to cool it down. Then you can put your stem in there and then connect my gauges. And I'll put some nitrogen in the unit. That way I can pressure test it. And then of course we want the nitrogen, that way we can pull a better vacuum. So, awesome. All right, so we got the stem inside the little service port that we welded. Just soaking it up, making sure there's no leaks. And we put some nitrogen in. That's what we use to pressure test. And then also make sure we get a good vacuum. We're ready to use the vacuum pump now. Fantastic. Make sure that that valve stem inside that access port that you installed is nice and tight. How do you do that? Well, you get a thermostat screwdriver. Look at that. Nice thermostat screwdriver, has a little tool, and I'm able to put it right there. Look at this. See that? You can see it? I could tighten it up, or I could loosen it up, see? Loosen it up, tighten it up, good to go. Now we need to pull a vacuum. Starting to pull a vacuum. So it's gonna pull down. You can see it pulling down there. So now to wait about 30 minutes to an hour. Should be pulled down. Should add refrigerant. We're gonna add factory charge. Factory charge on this equipment. Oh, this tag is a little worn out. It is a 2004 model or 2003. It is a 5-ton unit, and it holds 9.3 pounds of R22. So we're gonna be using the retrofit new 22 Freon R22B. This better work, by the way. I will be checking temperature splits and pressures. It better work. I don't like retrofit refrigerant, so I will be definitely taking into consideration all the different characteristics as soon as I get it up and running. Another note, how did I know this is 3-phase? Well, we got 3 legs of power coming in and a ground. Also, you see that little relay? That's a 9340 relay. You see this board that's attached to it? That right there is a failure point. These fail all the time. I'll get calls going, my blower motor's not running. Oh my, who did that? Who's been working on this? That contactor's not even strapped down. That's not what you do right there, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know who did that, but it looks like the relay is burnt. Let's see, let's 10 times this. Let's go inside. Well, you can't really see. All right, well, don't do that. Don't leave your contactor hanging. That's terrible. Anyways, that right there is a problem point. All you do is take this board off of that 9340 and then wire it back in. This would be your common, this would be your fan call, and then the orange wire, you would probably get rid of that. You definitely need to look at your schematic though, but this will cause the fan to not turn on or to turn on and run all the time. That right there is a delay board, and it's installed so that it provides the relay, the fan, with a little bit of a delay. But I do not like those. Just a tip. See, I've got 3 legs of power. 1, 2, 3 coming in. Contactor looks a little burnt. Definitely need to replace that. Want to know how long to pull a vacuum? Want to know a little secret trick? If you don't have a micron gauge that can tell you the microns, let me show you. So the way to know if your vacuum is good is, of course, it's going to be pulled all the way down, you know, here somewhere around 29.9. But what you do is you listen to the sound of the vacuum. And if you shut the manifold gauges off, and it doesn't change, then that means you're in good shape. Just a little secret, little tip here to help you in the field, just in case your batteries die in your micron gauge or you don't have one. That's a good way and a good indication that your vacuum is good, okay? And that's if you close your gauges and your pump makes no sound difference. All right, shut the pump off. Make sure you take this off. We got our scales set up. So we're gonna go ahead and add refrigerant. Got everything set up, here we go. So we got our refrigerant tank here hooked up to our yellow gauge. We zeroed it out before we started adding refrigerant. Also bleed your yellow hose here so that you have nothing but liquid going in, and then charge on your high side liquid. Oh, let's see what happens when we turn the disconnect on. I've got everything jumped out outside because I don't know what the thermostat's doing, so I put the red, the orange, the green, and the yellow together. The green is the call for the fan. Orange is the call for cooling, energize the reversing valve and cooling. And then red is 24 volts, and yellow is the cooling call. So contactor should pull in, and we can be able to start charging this thing properly by checking superheat and subcooling. If you don't know how, check out my playlist, HVAC Tips for Technicians. I've got a video on charging. So we've added about 5 pounds. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it there. Moment of truth. Well, the blower runs, that's good. Must have a little delay for the compressor. We're gonna bypass that delay though. I'm gonna show you what I use to do that. Little screwdriver. Oh, come here. And then on this unit, our test pins are right there on the defrost board. Oh, compressor's running. It's pulling down. That means it's pumping. Awesome. That's fantastic. Put this panel back up here so I'm not sucking in a bunch of hot air. Let's start adding some refrigerant. That's awesome. So if it held 9.3 pounds of R22, let's see what it holds with the new 22B and what the actual charge is when we get done, how many pounds and ounces it was. So we've got exactly what we were supposed to charge for factory charge, 9.3. Our suction line temperature is 52, which is nice and cold. Our suction pressure is 55, which is way too low. Head pressure is about 280, which that could be okay. It's really, really hot. But what can cause high head pressure? It could be a dirty outdoor coil. What can cause low suction pressure could be airflow issue, low airflow, fan speed's not right, filter's dirty, indoor coil's dirty. This might be fully charged. We'll know because we gotta check superheat and subcooling. Right now I'm gonna check the compressor amp draw though, because that's something that is concerning. I need to make sure the amp draw is within the run load amps. Go to AAC, hit select, and then check out the common. 5.38 amps. Wow, that's amazing. Let's go on this one. 15.3, that's more like it. 15.8. Run load amps for this compressor is 19. So usually you see somewhere around half. See that? RLA 19.4 for the compressor. So hopefully our suction pressure will at least go up a little bit higher. I need to check the indoor coil. Need to check the filter inside, the vents, make sure they're not closed. But I just want to do a video today and show you if you have a service port, you accidentally break it off, or you notice one's been broken off, you can fix it. Just get a 1/4 inch service access and get a set of torches and just braze another one on. You're good to go. Then you can charge the unit back up, get it running again, and then the customer can have some nice, cool air conditioning. If you have any questions, please leave those in the comments. If you don't, that's fine. Say hi, let me know where you're from, let me know if this helps, and let me know if you've ever had to do this. I'm Tad, and I will keep you cool if you let me. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting. I really appreciate all my viewers, subscribers, especially my members. You make this happen. Thanks again.